This is Friends of Jeff. That's my friend Jason.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Doing well.
How was your week?
It's kind of a low key week. Last week, not much going on, but my wife is turning 50 next week, so an exciting time here in the McGuigan household, and time sure flies. So
Wow, the big 5-0. Happy birthday, Michelle.
yes, we went out and kind of painted the town red a little bit last night. Needless to say, she is feeling a little more lazy today than I am, but a lot of fun was had regardless. So
You painted it red, not orange and blue?
Yeah. Well, judging by how the game's going so far, no. So
yeah, it is Sunday night.
No,
the Bears are playing. Yeah. It's towards the end of the first quarter, I think, down 10-3.
Just started the second quarter. They're down 10-3. Yep. So yeah.
Hey, I saw Tyreek Stevens already got into it with Nico Collins.
Yes, yeah. Their defense is struggling a little bit. Houston's able to move the ball pretty much at will, and the offense, while Caleb is, I think he's like 5 for 6, completed his first 5. Offensive line is still the problem. It's like 5 turnstiles. They can't run the ball. Unless he gets the ball out in under 2.5 seconds, they can't pass. It's tough. So we'll see how the game moves along. But,
Well, he's 7 for 8. So
okay, there you go.
The accuracy's there, but they're not running the ball. Let's see. DeAndre Swift has -3 rushing yards on 4 carries. So probably maybe don't hand it off to him as much.
No, I mean, and then Caleb being 7 for 8, the one was a throwaway. So actually, that's good.
Yes. I mean, the pregame, nobody picked the Bears to win. So
I saw that.
I saw that. I mean, they have to be the underdog until they prove they can actually field an offense, right?
Definitely. I mean, and plus they're in Houston. Houston was a playoff team, and you're seeing, it's a team with a real pass rush. What the difference is. So yeah, and until like you said, the Bears establish something on either offense or defense, it is hard to go with them. So.
And they got no Keenan Allen, and they got no Rome Odunze, so shorthanded already.
Odunze is playing.
Is he?
Active.
I thought he was out.
He's active, just had a catch. Allen is out, and our good friend Velus Jones Jr. is also inactive this week. Coach's decision, which is probably the right decision. So,
Well, I did like Carter running directly into the guy on the first kickoff there, where I was like, all right, didn't even bother making a move, just kind of like ran right into the guy.
He also has 2 catches in this game so far. So,
all right. Well, I see the focal point of the offense. No one ever picked that. No one saw DeAndre Carter as the game breaker.
No, no. So we'll see how, like I said, how the game moves along. But they need to adjust in some way, shape, or form.
Well, so I watched football pretty much all day. Red Zone, bunch of different stuff. I had the YouTube TV quad box going, so I had Red Zone on one of the corners, and then 3 other games going. Niners looked like crap. Really, a lot of teams looked like crap today, unless you were New Orleans Saints, just absolutely rolled over the Cowboys, which is awesome. I love it when the Cowboys lose. Yeah, and it was just kind of a week. Like nobody really kind of stood out to me.
Yeah, I've read online, honestly, that, the upsets is the way one person put it. The upsets that usually start to happen in like week 5 and week 6 as teams start rolling. A lot of them happen this week. Nobody expected the Saints to put 44 points on the Cowboys in Dallas. Kamala, like you said, 4 touchdowns, 180 total yards. Great game for him.
It was a quick, like, okay, Dallas is not in this game. They were, it seemed like they were like down by 20 after, like the first coin toss.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't think anybody expected that. I don't think anybody expected the Vikings to come out and
disappointed. I'm very disappointed in my Niners. They did not show well.
The Niners today, I mean, Justin Jefferson 4 catches, 133 yards. I mean, Darnold,
and he goes out with an injury. He's the leading he's the leading pass catcher right now, and he didn't even play like the second half.
Yeah, right. I mean, he had 97 of those yards on one play. I mean, kind of
that helps.
Kind of a Hail Mary from the end zone to midfield, and then Jefferson got behind everybody else and was gone. So
kind of like Marvin Harrison. He had 4 catches for 130 yards, and that was another team that steamrolled the Rams. Arizona looked really good today.
Yeah, I mean, and all of his production was also in the first quarter. I mean, Kyler Murray put him out ahead and 3 quick touchdown passes in the first half, and that was it. I mean, Harrison, 4 catches, 130 yards, 2 TDs. Another rookie receiver that had a big day was Malik Neighbors, 10 catches, 127 yards, and a touchdown. So,
but he dropped one at the end that would have kept their drive going. So I think he wishes he had 11 catches.
Yes. Well, proving that he's still a rookie. So
well, Harrison dropped a touchdown too. Like one hit him in the hands, and he could have had that one too. But we'll forgive him for 2 touchdowns and 30 yards receiving.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, in the draft it was Neighbors, it was Harrison, and it was a Dunze. So Neighbors and Harrison have proved they can put up yards. Hopefully, the Bears give a Dunze an opportunity to do the same. So we'll see.
Does it help that there aren't any other targets on either of those teams?
It probably does. Yeah, and obviously, Adunze, while tonight he's, probably the wide receiver, still the second choice to DJ Moore, but still.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see what the kid's got at some point. Might as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, lots of teams airing it out today, but it was boring football today. I was watching it. It was just kind of like, I took a nap for a little bit in the second half of the game. It was just like, nothing's really grabbing me. I don't know. I think the closest one that I was kind of watching was KC and Cincinnati. And Cincy should have won that game, but they gave it away.
They should have. Obviously, the rookie mistake at the end with the pass interference. I mean, as much as I hate to see Kansas City get the benefit of a call, it was the right call. Mm-hmm. And even my wife was upset about it. She's like, that's not pass interference. I'm like, he got there before the receiver did, or the ball got to the receiver. So, yeah, it kind of is. But, I mean, Mahomes was average today. I mean, 150 yards, 2 TDs, but also 2 interceptions. Another one, Jared Goff, he had a rough day today. Even though he threw for 370 yards, it took him 55 passes to do it, and they lost 2016 to Tampa Bay. He had 2 picks. Anthony Richardson had 3 picks against the Packers, and Dak Prescott 2 picks today. So not a lot of good quarterback play around the league today.
Speaking of bad, Carolina, Bryce Young, 26 pass attempts for 84 yards and an interception.
Yeah,
I feel bad for the poor guy.
I do too. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't know if he's big enough to play in the NFL because it's like you said, it's not looking good so far.
I mean, who are his targets? I mean, he's got Thielen's there, but Thielen's not proven to be a number one. Not since he's been there. Maybe he needs a better quarterback, but since Thielen left Minnesota, he has disappeared.
Well, their last number 1 receiver is now playing for the Bears. So
yeah, and we're happy to have him.
Yes, we are. Definitely. And then, hey, how about dare I say Aaron Rodgers, game manager? 18 30, 2 touchdowns, 176 yards. Jets 24-17 over the Titans. So nothing crazy.
I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I kind of wish he'd lose every time, but he's fine. Against Tennessee, come on, guys. I mean, we beat Tennessee.
That's right. So Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. So gotta give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. I don't know, just kind of a boring game. And then Thursday game was Buffalo, Miami. Buffalo ran away with it. Tua hopefully understands where he is now at this point.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So Tua suffers his 3rd concussion in the last 3 years.
At least his 3rd concussion.
Yeah, I read about it today. Two in 2022, and now this one. He came out today and said he is absolutely not retiring. I don't know what the doctors will have to say to that, but this guy has a ton of money coming to him either way.
Yeah.
So check out this deal that he gets, okay? So he signed, I did the research today. He signed a 4-year, $212.4 million extension in July. $167.2 million of that is completely guaranteed. So he's already received roughly $43 million of that when he signed it. So, not a bad deal. If he is medically cleared to play, but still opts to retire, he has to give up the money. And I'm assuming the Dolphins would probably do right by him and
give him some sort of settlement, right?
Give him a settlement, right? But if he is forced to retire and the doctors never cleared him to play, say he cannot play football again, he has the rights to $124 million of the remaining guaranteed money.
Wow.
So if you're Tua, you got to take a hard look and be like, man, I don't know if it's worth it. The doctors may make the decision for him, but
should they? I mean, at this point, I mean, the guy has had 3 that we know of. He's probably had others that were undiagnosed. I mean, and even just the way his play style is like, dude, what are you doing? You're running headfirst into a defender and you have a known history of concussions. Like,
I know.
just not a smart play.
Yeah, and how ironic is the guy that he runs into is the guy that almost died on the field 2 years ago on Monday Night Football.
Maybe it's him. Maybe he's the bad luck. Don't play near. Yeah, right. Don't go near Darren Hamlin. Right, everything will be fine.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the Bears hold Houston to a field goal is now 13-3. But yeah, if you're Tua, you got to take a hard look at your situation. And I know the guy wants to play football. I mean, I admire that, but you got to think about the next 30, 40 years of your life, man.
He's also got 120 million reasons to keep playing until someone tells him he can't.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's
what would you do? 120 million, and if you are medically cleared, do you keep playing?
That is tough. That is a tough one because obviously 124 million is generational wealth, right? I mean, you're talking your kids, most likely your kids' kids, and your kids' kids' kids are taken care of, and maybe even beyond that.
Or some really cool cars, man. Come on, at a nice house.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, boy, that's a tough one.
This is the thing that you've been training your entire life for.
Yeah.
This is your identity. You are a quarterback in the NFL, and you have a history of concussions. Do you keep playing for $120 million?
Well, I think your pride comes into it. I think your own personal ego plays a part of it. My guess is he will still play. He will try to play. And I think I would as well.
That's it.
I think I would because, like I said, I mean, you've got all that money potentially coming to you. And do you feel like you owe the franchise something? At least you owe the franchise the opportunity to play, right? I mean, they drafted you. They gave you all this money. And, I mean, it's tough because if the guy retires, and even if they, it takes a settlement or whatever, and even if you walked away with nothing, I mean, is he considered to be a selfish player or a selfish ex-player at that point? That's a tough question. What would you do?
I mean, I think I would probably play, but I would take 20 million of that 120 million and get the best scientists in the world to craft the concussion-free helmet and really drive forward with like some sort of, I don't want to wear that. I mean, I get why they're wearing the pad helmet. It looks stupid, but I get it, right? It's a step towards safety. Got to be something. But I would take a whole bunch of money and sink it into developing something that's going to protect my brain so I'm not a vegetable when I leave the game.
Not a bad idea. I mean, these guys are eligible. They are eligible to wear those helmets in the game, although nobody does. But
I thought I thought in week 1 that somebody was wearing them. I haven't seen one live in a game.
Yeah, I haven't seen one. Maybe there was one, but I mean, you obviously don't want your brain to turn into mush. And unfortunately, in the game of football, it's probably more possible for that to happen than almost anything else. So,
now speaking of mush, third and inches and Bears get short.
Nice. Yeah,
congratulations.
After 2 nice runs by DeAndre Swift, they let Caleb keep it, and they come up short. So,
looks like they might try to go for it here. 4th and inches.
I think they should. I mean, you're midfield, you're down 10, you're on the road. What do you have to lose?
Yeah.
QB 7 of 8. Why not?
Yeah. Do a little play action here, maybe, and roll out, get on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Caleb does best, right?
Well, they're starting in the shotgun, so they're already 5 yards behind where they need to be. There we go. Hand up the middle draw. And, that's going to be close. I don't think he got it, but.
Okay, you're a little ahead of me. Let's see.
So.
Yeah, they need, they're at their own 40, too. That's a.
Yeah.
I don't know. That last push may have got it. I don't know. That's tough.
He's got his back on the line, and the ball is in front of it. Now, they gave it to him, I guess. Okay, well, congratulations, Bears. I don't think he got it, but we'll take the gift.
Okay, there you go. I was going to say, it looked like he got one last push right at the end there that may have, right there. that got him over the 40. So we'll see. Hopefully they can keep the drive going. So, Bears,
Is this what you expected?
Yes, they have to show progress this week, right?
Yeah.
They have to show progress and prove that they are an NFL offense. Another nice throw by Caleb right there.
To your guy, to the Bears superstar, DeAndre Carter.
There you go, DeAndre Carter. He's the man.
Can't coach him, can't cover him,
Yeah, right. I mean, they have to prove that they can move the football, and they're going to go as far as their offensive line will let them go. So we'll see.
Well, that sucks because their offensive line is historically weak. But
I know it's been bad. I mean, Braxton Jones, he can't handle Danielle Hunter, and he's been getting beat all night. So it's just it's too tough. It's just too tough. But again, like I said, Houston's good. They're tough.
Well, I mean, they've got their quarterback, and let's assume he shows signs this year. What do you draft? Offensive lineman for the next 3 years? Just nothing but, and try to fix that.
Well,
sign somebody. Yes. Is there a free agent coming up at the end of the year that we spent a crap load of money on?
I don't know. All I know is, obviously Nate Davis is not good. I mean, when you miss most of training camp for whatever reason, and then you go out there and try and play, it's just not going to happen. They put his backup, Ryan Bates, on IR, so we get to watch Nate Davis for the next 4 weeks, which is not going to be fun. Darnell Wright, still young, although showing a lot of promise. Tevin Jenkins, we'll see. And then they still don't have a real center. That's one thing they did not solve in this offseason, which is a glaring need. So,
well, if your offensive line is that bad, what does the play calling do to protect you against that? Quick slants, screens, slow it down. Like I never see quick slants come out of them. It's always like a 3-5 step drop and then bang, instead of, snap the ball and bang, the ball is out right away.
Right. Well, your quick slant guy, Keenan Allen, is out, right?
Yes.
So maybe
you got DeAndre Carter, man. Come on.
I hear you. But yeah, I mean, and DJ Moore can give you some of that too. Yeah. And I would like to see more of DJ Moore. But again, if you can't protect the quarterback, you're not going to get very far. Not in this league. So just kind of a week so far for me in the NFL. Kind of like whatever. I feel like it was like the middle of the season, kind of doldrums, where it's kind of like whatever, things kind of settled in. And other than Arizona and New Orleans pulling away everybody, it was just kind of like whatever to this week. Yeah, it's tough. Again, I wonder what the Niners would have done if McCaffrey's he's another story. McCaffrey on IR, so he's out the next 4 weeks as well. And even though what's his name, Jordan Morris, I believe, had his second 100-yard game today. Obviously, your offense is going to be missing something when you don't have Christian McCaffrey. So
20 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, it just proves the Mike Shanahan offense just turns out running backs left and right. Really doesn't even matter who's back there sometimes. Everybody this year before that with people like Raheem Mostert, others, Jeff Wilson. I mean, everybody looks like a stud in the 49ers run offense.
Well, we talked about it last week, right? I mean, the running back position as a whole is not all that spectacular anymore. It's a workhorse position that just kind of is there, and pretty much anybody can do it, right? I mean, not anybody, but I mean, you don't see many star running backs anymore.
No,
we got Caleb running for his life here, and oh my God, so. Yeah, it's not looking good for the Bears. Anyway.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll interject Bear stuff here, but you wanted to talk White Sox, and this is the part where I probably fall asleep for a couple minutes because it's baseball.
Okay. Yeah. So here's the thing. So I've been thinking about, all right, we're talking about doing this podcast, things like that. I'm like, you know what? I need to come up with like a weekly rant. Something I have issue with.
I said, don't force the rant. The rant comes to you. Don't look for the rant.
Let me tell you, the rant king has come to me since probably the middle of April when it comes to this baseball team. So this has been a long time coming. And I think I finally hit the roof this week with the Sox when their GM came out and said, and I quote, "We are not going to be working heavy in free agency this offseason. We've got guys on the field right now who need to improve their game. And that's all he said. Translation, once again, they're not going to go spend money at all. And they're going to continue to put a crappy product on the field and try and develop guys in the minors and, build this thing the long way. I'm sorry. This is the third largest media market in the country, Chicago, Illinois. I know it's a Cubs town. It's always been a Cubs town. I get it. But after today, granted they won today, and they won yesterday. Quick little tidbit. First time they've won 2 games in a row in almost 3 months.
Hot streak, baby.
June 27th, June 28th, and June 29th. They actually won 3 in a row, but that is the last time they won 2 in a row. Yesterday, when they won, they broke a 16-game losing streak at home. So, obviously, a lot going on. They're 35 and 115 with 12 games to go. Here's my problem. There's no plan. There's no plan at all in place with this team. Chris Getz said that in the offseason, he said, we're going to rebuild and compete as quickly as humanly possible. Mm-hmm. And now he comes on and says, we're basically going to put the same team on the field that we put on this year next year.
He likes what he sees.
And just expect guys to improve. Here's what we're looking at right now. All right, for the Sox. Not, as we touched last week, again, still not one hitter in their everyday lineup hitting over 250. Only 2 hitters in their everyday lineup with an on-base percentage over 300. Only 2 hitters in their lineup with over 100 hits on the season. Mind you, they've played 150 games, and there's only 2 guys with 100 hits. Only 1 hitter has scored 50 runs. They have the worst run differential in all of Major League Baseball at negative 311. That's an average of almost 2 runs a game. The next worst is Colorado Rockies at negative 225. So they're going to lead that category, no problem. Some more individual stuff for you. Their leading home run hitter on the year, Paul DeJong, 18 home runs. What's nuts about that? Paul DeJong was traded almost a month and a half ago. No longer on the team. Most wins for a pitcher, Eric Fetty with 7. Granted, 7 is bad enough when you played 150 games. Once again, Eric Fetty traded over a month and a half ago. Lastly, most saves, Michael Kopech with 9. Nobody else on the team has more than 2. And what's the theme of this whole thing? Yes, he was traded over a month and a half ago. So nobody has stepped up for this team to pick up the slack. Not that they had stars before, but just bad. I mean, they've used 29 different position players and 35 different pitchers at some point this year. 1 position player has pitched. So there was a little bit of crossover there. But just a complete disaster. And the biggest disappointment for me all year, he's my favorite player in the team, and I want to love him, but my love is becoming a hate. Luis Robert, I'm sorry. About 2 years ago, I touted him as like potentially the next Mike Trout. I thought that guy played Gold Glove defense, give you 40 homers, drive in 120, steal 30 bases, and just be baseball's next big thing. This year, 91 games. He was hurt again for like the 3rd or 4th year in a row. 91 games, batting a big fat 228, 14 home runs, and 35 RBIs after an all-star season last year. Just a complete
Did he get paid?
Disaster. Oh, yeah, he got paid. Oh, man, I want to say it was 4 years ago. Granted, it was a team-friendly contract. It was 8 years, and I think like $80 million before he had ever played a major league game.
How do you get $80 million? You've never played a single game in the pro.
Well, here's the thing. The Sox have done this in the past where they try and get guys, they lock them up long term, where they're banking on the fact that at some point they're going to be good, and then they'll be essentially underpaid versus the market when they become good, but they're way overpaid before they become good, if that makes sense.
I get it, but then so then the player gets into that state, right? Let's say this guy does turn good. And then what does he do?
Right.
He holds out for a new contract. So not only did you pay him when he wasn't worth it, now you're going to have to figure out how to pay him, or he sits out or does whatever.
What?
Yeah, I mean, baseball honestly doesn't have a holdout. I don't think they do holdouts. I've never heard of a player actually holding out. The problem becomes, and this is what the general consensus is that the players just become content. Like,
Well, yeah.
hey, I got my money. It's all good. You know, I can do what I want. I don't have to play hard.
Or, you know, I tore a nail and I can't play for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, because the one thing about baseball contracts is you get paid no matter what. You
Right.
get paid no matter what. Another perfect example is Yohan Moncada, who, thank God, will be off of this roster at the end of the year. But Yohan Moncada, 8 years with the Sox, is giving him, I want to say, he hit like 254, 90-some home runs, 200-some RBIs in 8 years. This guy was at one point the number one prospect in all of baseball. He was paid, I want to say it's $20 million this year to play. I think he's played 10 games maybe. He was out
$27 million.
like 25 or 20,
Oh, 25.
20 million. 20, yeah.
All right. Well, they should have called me because I would have done it for 19.
Yeah, right. He is due a team option for $25 million next year. I know the Sox won't pick it up, so thank God he'll be gone. But here's the problem, and here's what they're stuck with. And granted, I know it's for 12 games, but Moncada is finally going to come off the injury list tomorrow and join the White Sox in Anaheim for their series with the Angels. So he's going to play potentially 12 useless games for him, useless games for the Sox. He's going to take up a roster spot where you could call up a young guy. They had a young guy, Brian Ramos, that they're taking a hard look at for potentially third base next year. And, you know, Moncada's going to come back, probably play, and it takes away valuable play time from a young guy. And that's what irritates me the most, is he's there for no reason. And they could just
Does he have any incentives coming up?
What's that?
Does he have any incentives coming up?
No.
All right.
No incentives.
Well, go Sox. So,
yeah.
All right, you're in charge of the Sox now. What do you do?
If I'm in charge of the Sox.
I know you've dreamed about this, so let me have it.
I have. Okay. Boy, this is tough because they here's the problem. They put themselves in such an awful position, right? And I know the GM is hogtied by the owner. The owner doesn't want to spend money. And I know I'm not answering your question. I'll get to that in a second. The problem is, but
these are things you've got to work around. You've got an owner who doesn't want to spend money. They draw. Let's see, they're fourth from the bottom in league attendance this year.
Correct.
But they still draw 17, almost 18,000 people per game.
Yeah, I mean, they had 25,000 last night on a Saturday.
Okay.
25,000 on Friday night. So, you know, first of all, as a fan, if I'm a fan, I'm not going. I'm not going to the games.
But 25,000 people went last night.
I know, 25,000 people went. So the owner says, I'm still making money.
Right.
The owner is also going to unveil a brand new TV network for his White Sox, his Chicago Bulls, and he's partnered with the Blackhawks. That,
is this another marquee network kind of play?
It's exactly what it is. And it's going to require people to pay to stream them, and people will pay it. So he's got money coming in. Baseball has revenue sharing, so he gets a piece of that on the national contracts. He gets a piece of the national TV contracts for playoffs. They all get a part of that. So, you know, he has money coming in. He just refuses to spend it the way it needs to be spent. Now, Sox payroll, other side of the argument, Sox payroll is middle of the pack. I think it's like 15th out of 30. So there is money being spent. I don't think it's being spent in accordance to what could be spent, but it's obviously not being spent wisely, right? They've never paid a player over $100 million. They've never paid out a $100 million contract. I think the only other team in Major League Baseball that hasn't done that is the Marlins. I think Pittsburgh finally got with the times either last year or the year before and finally paid a guy over $100 million over the course of how many every years that was going to be. But the Sox, they just don't invest in long-term players. They don't invest in pitchers longer than 3 years. They just won't do it. So you're asking me what would I do?
Okay.
I continue to draft. I continue to draft college players. high draft pick college players. They've done that the last 2 years. They've got a nice left-hander in Double-A right now who pitched for, I believe it was Arkansas, number 5 pick in the draft, Hagen Smith. Guy before that, granted he was out of high school, actually a local guy here out of Oswego East, believe it or not, but number 1 draft pick, Noah Schultz, another left-handed starting pitcher who's going to be fantastic. At this point, he's forced you to develop down low, right? I would not waste money on a free agent right now. I would when they had their window. I would have done it like 3 years ago. But now, I think you have to go young. You have to bottom out, and they're essentially bottoming out right now. But you have to bottom out, let your crap contracts, so to speak, run out, play your young guys, see what you have, see if anybody's of value, see if anybody's tradable that can get you anything in return, and just kind of build from there, man. It's tough, but you have to, at this point, you have to see what you have because they have so many young people. But I would not come out publicly and say we're going to put the same team on the field next year.
Well, you can't
do that.
I mean, I don't know why the guy said that, but I mean,
because he's a moron. That's why.
But it sounds like there's no hope for the next couple of years, at least, unless lightning strikes and like somehow they magically turn around a bunch of different positions and get way better out of nowhere.
No, I don't see them being any good. They probably won't be over 500 for the next probably 4 to 5 years. It's that.
So do you keep going to games then? Keep supporting them, keep watching games, listening to the games, knowing they're going to be that bad?
I will. I won't go to games. I will not go to games. I'll admit I don't watch them nearly as much as I used to. I do pay attention to the box scores. I do like to see where they're at. I almost like to see if they lost again. That's my morning ritual. Is hey, the Sox lose again last night? Because I want to see if there's any progress at all. And there really isn't. And it sucks being a Sox fan. It does, because it's almost like, I don't know if you followed the Blackhawks roughly, early 2000s, late 90s. They had an owner who, again, didn't want to spend big money on free agents. He wouldn't even put the Hawks on television. It was that bad. And the franchise was rated the worst franchise in professional sports by Sports Illustrated at the time. As soon as he passed away, everything changed. The team was inherited by his children. They put him on TV. They started to spend money. And over time, people came back, attendance came back, and they won 3 Stanley Cups.
And they were an exciting team to watch too. It was the best of times in Chicago sports at that point for the hockey for the hockey fans.
Granted, they hit on 2 top draft picks in Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves. I think Taves was drafted first, and Kane came the next year. And those were both home runs as far as draft picks go. And
yeah, but they also went and got veterans too that were great. So you had like Hossa and others that came in and just they fit in.
Yeah, they locked up Marian Hossa. They locked up Patrick Sharp. They got a goalie, who could play, and Corey Crawford. They had, a bunch of outstanding defensemen: Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, Nicholas Hjalmarsson.
My dog Duncan is named after Duncan Keith. That's a little fun fact for you.
Excellent. One of my favorite Hawks. He was outstanding. But not to shift the conversation to hockey, but I mean, the Sox model is broken. Obviously, what they're doing is not working, and I think they need to completely blow it up. When they hired their new GM last year. Again, they went inside the organization, which is garbage. They need to go outside the organization. I think get some new blood, get some new brains, if you will, and somebody's going to challenge the owner to say, hey, this isn't working, and if you want to see something before you pass away. I don't know how old Reinsdorf is exactly. I think he's in his 80s, but he's not going to see another winner before he dies. And the way this is going, so we'll see. And it looks like the Bears are.
They're driving here. They got a nice pass interference here down at the
pass interference penalty there. So
we'll see if they can actually score a touchdown.
Let's see if Caleb can put one in the end zone here.
So
that'd be nice. So, but yeah, Sox. It's a struggle, dude. Really big time struggle.
Go back to hockey real quick. I will argue to the day I die that playoff hockey in Chicago is the best sporting event in the city.
Oh, 100%. 100% agree. When the Hawks are rolling, I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean, it's almost like, everybody puts away the Cubs Sox bias and gets behind them. And yeah, you get in that stadium at the United Center for playoff hockey, and it is, it is just nuts in there.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You feel the energy. Your hair stands on end. It's the best environment. I was lucky enough to go to a few games when the Hawks were good and be in the rafters and stuff like that. But it's electric. And I've been to Bears games, Bulls games. I've seen Jordan play at the old Chicago Stadium and United Center, and still nothing has come close to a playoff hockey game with the Blackhawks.
One of my favorite Hawks memories, and you'll laugh at this, was when you and I went to the game. I believe it was against Toronto, and we were sitting right next to the Leafs bench. And the two highlights for me that night was an awesome Ty Domi fight. I forget who on the Hawks he fought, but he really lit somebody up on the Hawks bad. And my favorite thing was when you reached in and swiped a squirt bottle from the Leafs backup goalie. And he didn't even notice. That was fantastic.
Hey, I'm doing my part to help the Blackhawks win. If a lack of hydration for their backup goalie, was the cause, I like to think it was to the success of the Blackhawks organization. But yeah, we sat on the glass. I think that time we were the two seats right next to the bench. That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Their
I can't
score.
remember if they won the game or not, but I do remember that you walked away with I believe it was a blue Powerade water bottle.
That's a very good memory. So I don't know what happened to that. I'm not sure where it went. I'm sure it was in the house somewhere in Romeoville or wherever, but I don't know whatever happened to that thing. But their score looks like a little draw by Herbert. So there we go. Nice. First touchdown of the season, I think.
Caleb ran for one. Didn't he run for one last week?
No, they didn't score any touchdowns.
No, that was preseason. My bad. That's their first offensive touchdown in the year. Very nice.
This is
very nice.
All right, well, we're back into it. So 13-10.
Excellent.
Going into the halftime here, about 30 seconds.
Nice. Well, maybe the defense has, figured some stuff out, and hopefully they don't give up a Houston field goal to end the half. And Bears do get the ball in the second half, so that's a good thing.
Well, good things happen when you start throwing the ball to DJ Moore. So keep doing that.
Absolutely.
It's a good strategy, I think.
No doubt. Very good.
Yeah. What else this week did you do? I traveled. I was in D.C., spoke at a conference. That was interesting.
Nice. A conference in D.C. It's an interesting time to be in D.C., I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. I got stuck. So I landed Tuesday and got stuck in a motorcade kind of block off coming out of the White House. So that was nice. Kind of 45 minutes waiting for traffic to subside while somebody, I don't know if they were coming or going from the White House, but the conference was about maybe 5 or 6 blocks from there. And so I was on my way to the hotel and got to experience that, which is not really what you want after, being on planes and connections and stuff like that. So I just want to get to the hotel at that point.
Yeah, I hear you. Yep. Let's see. Interesting thing for me this week. Didn't really involve me, but I don't know how much you follow professional golf, if you follow golf at all, but the alternative to the PGA Tour, the LIV Tour, was in Bolingbrook this weekend.
It was?
And yes, it was. Played
Where'd they play?
Golf Club.
Really?
Played at Bolingbrook Golf Club. I've never played Bolingbrook Golf Club, but a lot of people I know have. They used to be a customer of mine.
Mm-hmm.
They're now somebody else in the district that I work. But the LIV Tour with some of arguably the greatest golfers in the world played there this weekend, and it was a big deal locally.
Really?
They closed 2 of the high schools for Friday because they needed the lots for parking. I know, which is nuts. And they just had public parking all over the place. We supplied all the food for the event, and that kept our company busy for a good 2 weeks roughly with setup and all that jazz. Yep. And I know the golf club itself was very busy, and I know the chef was sweating his rear end off trying to get through it. But from what I understand, everything went well. And yeah, it's the end of the season tournament for LIV, and LIV Golf apparently pays out a lot of money. I believe this weekend was worth $25 million. So
wow,
hard to see $25 million up for grabs at Bolingbrook Golf Club here.
I mean, I remember when that entire area was just corn. I mean,
Yeah, right. I know
there was like a couple of roads that kind of cut through it on the way to like Plainfield and Naperville. Well, that was it. I never would have thought that Bolingbrook Golf Course would have turned into a professional destination. But hey, I guess good job, Bolingbrook.
Yeah, and to think just about 2 months ago they were shooting off fireworks on that very golf course. So, yeah, it's nuts. But yeah, that was a big local event. And then obviously our other event this week was the debate.
Oh, what debate? What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. What debate? The crap show of a debate that I thought was pretty bad, to be totally honest with you. I thought it was bad all the way around myself, but
I thought it was good. I thought Kamala came off really well. I think, as usual, Trump lied and blamed the referee because he didn't like the calls and he kept getting fact checked. You know, one way to not get fact checked: don't lie. That's the easy way to do it. I think Kamala messed up right away on her first answer. The first question was, how are you better than you were, 4 years ago or whatever? She totally didn't answer the question. But other than that, I think she laid trap after trap after trap. And we heard the same thing from Trump. It was complain. He has concepts of a plan for healthcare for 9 years now that he has been talking about. There's just no substance at all behind it. And, of course, the highlight, let's call it the recipe du jour cats on the menu, apparently, in Springfield, Ohio, which is totally just bullshit. So I don't know what's going on in that campaign. It shocks me that he still is at like 47% from a polling perspective. But hey, I get it. Some people aren't thrilled with the other side either, but I don't know. I watched, it's actually the only debate that I've watched all of it. I even turned off the early one this year between Biden and Trump. When Biden started speaking after about 15 minutes, I was like, he hasn't got it. Like, Trump's going to win this election. I just forget it. I can't watch this anymore. But I actually watched the entire debate, and I thought it was good. Kamala did what she needed to do. People got to know her. She actually talked about, ideas and plans that she's got, and she didn't come off like a big buffoon. So congratulations to her, I guess.
I will give you this, that she baited Trump into a lot of stuff, and he took it every time. And
go to a Trump. The best part was go to a Trump rally and watch people leave out of boredom. That was awesome. I wish she would punch down a little bit more like that.
Yeah, here's the thing. I just wish he could get out of his own way. She obviously had an agenda in the debate. I feel she was very prepped for this and came off pretty well. Remained somewhat professional. He unfortunately was not. I will be the first to say he had a rough night. He had a bad night. He was off his game. He wanted to talk immigration the entire night. And I know his numbers on immigration might be off, but that's all he seemed to want to talk about, which was really disappointing.
But that's his only thing that he talks about. Every single thing comes back to immigrant, and then straight up lies. Like, just things that aren't true. I get it. We have a border. It needs to be secure. No one's saying it doesn't. But this whole idea that there's a wave, an army of immigrants coming and taking over cities isn't true. It isn't.
It's a stretch. I understand. Obviously the dogs and cats thing. Yeah, whatever. I hear you. But
he's leaning into it. Like, he knows he can't say, yeah, you know what, I was wrong, like a normal human being could. What he does is he leans into it, and then JD Vance does the same thing. And then I think I saw some interview today where, JD Vance was asked about it. I was like, yes, I have to make things up so people will pay attention. Like, okay, what's up, dude? I mean, like, he can't admit when he's wrong. All he does is double down on it and go even harder.
Here's my problem, okay? And I know I keep saying here's my problem. I don't like the guy as a candidate. I honestly don't. But I don't like her either. I wish there was
and that's fine.
better.
I'm with you.
there was a better alternative. And for me, I'm sorry, I still take him over her only because I think our country was in pretty good shape during his 4 years in office. I don't think it's been in that good of shape these past 4 years in office. I mean, I'm still paying out the ass in gas. I'm still paying out the ass in groceries. I know inflation's down. I know you went over the numbers last week. I know it's like down to what, 2.5%.
I get it. It hasn't hit everybody yet.
But
yeah.
It hasn't yet. It has not trickled down to me yet. Although I will tell you, gas has. I think I reported $3.79 last week. $3.39 this morning.
Oh, there you go.
So 40 cents.
Hey,
So
Bidenomics working.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. With what, 2 months to go. You know, and here's my thing. Kamala saying all these changes that need to be happened. Where was this the last 4 years? And I think Trump finally hit that at the very end. And if he had led with that and talked about that and supported that, I think he would have done a ton better in the debate. But he got caught up in her questions and her, shots at him. And instead of being proactive, he was totally reactive. And he just can't get away from that. And that's
he's not going to
problem.
change. That's what he's always
not.
been like that. And it's almost like he's failing upward, and things are getting done in spite of him.
That's the thing.
I've never seen.
He's like that publicly, right? I mean, when he gets in front of people, that's how he is.
I don't think he's any different behind the scenes. I don't think he turns into a mastermind genius, where he has actual intelligent conversations. I think even his own administration has said that he has a tenuous grasp on reality. I think it was H.R. McMaster, one of the very great people that he brought into his environment, that says he has a hard time separating fact from fiction.
Okay, that's one guy's opinion. I get that, and I know a bunch of people that have said they've worked for him. They don't like him either. I get that, but the results were while he was in office. Again, we're in pretty good shape. I was paying.
But how much of that was him? I think we talked about this last week, right? It's like, how much credit do you give the actual president of this? I think there's so many other things that happen. Yes, of course, there is some degree of, my stocks were up during Trump. It's great.
Right.
I'm happy to have that again. But I don't think it was because of the skillful manipulation of the government and policy by Donald Trump that got us there.
No, I mean, it rarely is, right? It rarely is the president himself that does the dirty work, that does the policy change. It's Congress, it's lobbying, it's a whole bunch of stuff, right? I mean, I'll admit, I'm not 100%, as I said last week, I'm not 100% into the politics. I need to get into it more. I just thought the debate as a whole was a complete shit show. I thought that the moderators totally favored Harris from the beginning. They fact-checked Trump. They didn't fact-check Harris for anything. And she didn't say a bunch of truths either.
She didn't come with outright lies as many. I remember reading the analysis afterwards. She did have a couple things where, yes, they could have challenged her on that, for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But they didn't. And that's the problem. That's the problem. And now it's, there's a possibility that, some of the questions were, I don't know if you read on the internet today, some of the questions have been leaked to her. I'm just saying,
there's no evidence of that. Right. And people are saying she had earrings that had a microphone, a microphone in it.
That one. I don't believe that one. But there is
if you won the Trump, if you won the debate, you do not go into the spin room immediately afterwards like Donald Trump did. Nobody does that if you won the debate. And the fact that he comes out and says, everybody's saying that I won and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bullshit. Nobody's saying you won. Come on. And that's what I say. He literally cannot tell the truth. He doubles down and he goes and he just digs and digs and digs. And he's a counterpuncher. Okay, well, you're still wrong, dude.
My problem is her. Oh, by the way, Houston just kicked a 59-yard field goal to head into halftime here. So
great.
We had 16-10. So
I was thinking about this earlier. Let's get off politics for a second because I want to go back to the NFL. Okay. Do you think kicking has gotten too easy and that we need to do something about the kicking game? Because I am seeing tons of 50-yard field goals, no problem. And they were even talking about kicking 60 and 70-yarders today with Justin Tucker and others at the end of the game. Now they haven't done it yet, but I feel like it's become almost like a 50 has become a gimme, and that used to be like the holy grail.
Yeah, who was it? He was either I forget who it was. I think was it Romo, or was it? Yeah, it was Romo who I believe said, there was one today when there was a decision to be made to kick a 50-yard field goal. Now it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and you've got guys who are like 31 or 32 from 50. I'm like, okay, it's great. It takes a lot of skill, obviously. My record is a 42-yard field goal. That's the furthest I've ever kicked one. But I can't imagine.
That's probably 30 yards further than I've kicked one. But Buckner for Kansas City was lining up for a 68-yarder. Yeah. They finally pulled him off, and decided to punt. But what do you do? I mean,
I don't know.
What do you do?
I just feel like it's gotten so easy that it changes the game when you've got legitimately a kicker who can hit a 70-yarder in pre-game warm-ups or whatever. I want to see a team go for it. I want to see a 70-yard field goal. I want to see it. I mean, I love it. I think it's great, but I also think it's a little bit awkward and weird where it's like, okay, everybody's hitting 50s now. Like, I don't know if there's a rule change or not, because do people settle for those points, or does it help with touchdowns or offense? Because obviously everyone wants to see touchdowns, not field goals. I mean, you had a guy today in, what was it? One of the teams, 7 for 7 won the game. Was it?
Yes.
I'm not sure who it was.
What team was it? Washington.
Yeah. The guy they just signed on Monday, too, by the way. Like, he's just branded the team, and he goes 7 for 7. The record, by the way, is 8. I remember Scott Hansen saying that on Red Zone.
Well, here's the yardage on those field goals: 27, 45, 26, 27, 29, 33, and 30. So what does that tell you?
They stalled out in the red zone?
Redskins, hello. The Commanders cannot finish a drive.
No, they can't. They stalled out in the somewhere between 20 and 30-yard line. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But, what they won, I believe, was 21-18. So, kickers are obviously a valuable commodity. Bears have
unless you're the Giants.
Yeah.
And you have an injured kicker, and you go into it, and you lose the game because you don't have a kicker anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so as far as what you do about the kicking game, I mean, the only thing I think you could really do is back up the goalpost, stuff, right?
Make them narrower.
Well, or make it narrower. Yeah, I guess you could.
Have someone taunt them, like get up in their face, like Noonan, like try and get them off their game.
What I mean. Why would you penalize guys because they've gotten better at the job?
I don't think you should. I just think I've noticed that it seems like 50s are a gimme. And for whatever reason, this week, it kind of hit me. I was like, man, there's a lot of 50-yard field goals getting made right now.
Yeah. I think guys are just, I think they're just better. They're just better
and
now.
Stronger legs. I mean, it's crazy. You think about it, but
yeah,
I mean, it was just a little side thing that I thought of when you said the 50-yard field goal. I was like, oh, great, another one for the week.
Well, I know back in the day, and this is even before my time and your time, kickers played other positions, right? I mean, a lot of times the kicker was the quarterback, or kickers were also punters. Or
how old are you? Jeez, kicker playing quarterback. You're crazy. Yeah, unless you're Donovan McNabb. Didn't he do that? No, Randall Cunningham did that.
Cunningham did it.
Brady punted once too.
Yes, so. I mean, quarterbacks are athletes, right? Are kickers athletes? I mean...
Yeah, of course. I mean, it takes skill to drive a ball that far and play wind, play turf, the crowd and the players around you. And
they are now. They didn't used to be. I mean, look, who was it? Martin Grammatico, who pulled a hamstring in a celebration and missed the rest of the season?
Yeah.
And
there's that. I mean, you get that. You got Kirk Cousins, headbutting the wall and going out with a neck injury. So there's a lot of stupid injuries out there.
No doubt. But I just think kicking is become, I think teams are using it more as a weapon, and guys are getting better at it, and you better defend better.
Yeah. Here you go. Week 1 this year, the NFL went 21 for 23 on field goals of 50 yards or longer in the first week.
Wow.
So they are turning into gimmies.
Well, again, defend better. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
There is no answer to that. So, but I can't remember. Here, go look up stats on George Blanda sometime. He's in the Hall of Fame, quarterback, kicker, played 60, 70 years ago. But yeah, he was QB and kicker for a long time.
That was a long time ago, man. That was...
Yeah. I know.
Come on.
I know. So
Game's changed.
yeah, I mean, you could pretty much say that about almost every sport, right? I mean,
Mhm.
a lot of rule changes in baseball. I mean, rule changes in football, rule changes in basketball, rule changes in hockey. There's rule changes in everything because the game has changed. Games have changed over time.
He was not a good kicker, though. I'm looking at his stats. So from 1960 to 1975 is when he actually kicked.
Okay.
Here's his field goal percentage. Lifetime career average of 52%. So
Okay.
not a great kicker, but okay. I guess in a pinch, I guess if you need a kicker, yeah, I'm sure the Giants wish that Daniel Jones, all that money they paid him, he could kick a field goal today.
Here's a question. How many career kicks did he have?
How many total kicks? He had
like-
100 and no, wait, hold on. Field goals attempted 641 attempted, 335 made.
Okay,
His long was at 55.
Okay, so what does that tell you? That tells you that while he had a 52% percentage of success, they either one couldn't find anything better, or they deemed the position not important enough to go find somebody better. I mean, he was still their full-time guy. Or for 15 years, 600 kicks. I mean, that's 40 kicks a season. So back then they were, I think, only playing 14 games. So, it's at least 3 or 4 attempts a game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, the sport has changed. Now you've got specialists. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure they didn't have like a long snapper either back then, right?
No.
Like a dedicated position.
No, I'm sure they didn't.
Yep.
And if you've ever tried to long snap a football, then it's definitely a specialty because I sure as hell can't do it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean,
yeah, those guys snap that thing as hard as a quarterback can throw it. So yeah, it's pretty wild.
and then they're immediately jumped on by like 3 guys, so they're at the bottom of the pile every time. Like they're in a very vulnerable position.
That's right. So crazy, but. Watching highlights, of Marvin Harrison. Yeah, he's going to be the real deal, man. He had a good game. He's their only target. If you're going to have a guy who's going to be your only target, he's a good one.
He's just going to see double coverage over and over again until
for sure.
someone else steps up and takes some pressure off him. But it's good to see Kyler Murray back. He played well, and coming off the injury is always nice to see.
No doubt. No
For
doubt.
him, at least. I don't care about Aaron Rodgers. He can fall down a well as far as I'm concerned.
It's only a matter of time. My guess is he retires at the end of the year.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he'll be done.
What's his contract for? Is he up this year, or is he another one where he's just going to play until he makes his money? Let me look it up real quick.
Off the top of my head, I don't know. What I do know,
he's got 3 years. 3-year deal.
Really?
He signed through this year, looks like. 2025 years.
Okay, so he'd be signed through next year.
Yeah, so he's making $23.5 million next year, and right now he's making $17 million.
All right, I'll take that back. I'll bet he plays the contract, and then that's it. And I'm not sure how old he is. He's got to be pushing 40, right?
I think he turned 40, yes.
Because he didn't start his first 4 years in the league. He was still behind Favre at that point.
Yeah, he's 40 years old. He'll be 41 in December.
Okay. Yeah, I'll bet if he doesn't get hurt, like a significant injury like he had last year, I think he plays out the contract and then he's done.
He's going to go on like an ayahuasca retreat or something and do a bunch of mushrooms and come back with a greatly expanded mind, whatever that means.
Hey, he may just disappear, and we may never hear from him again.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
And that'd be fine.
I mean, he's a great quarterback, but I don't like him. Mostly because he's one of the Packers. If he was on my team, I probably would like him more, but he's also a bit of a kook.
He's a weirdo. Again, he's a guy who, if he could just keep his mouth shut, he'd be fine.
Yes.
But yeah, he gave Bears fans, including you and I, nightmares for a long time.
Yes. Bears haven't been able to catch a break with the Packers for 2 decades between Favre, Rodgers, and now it looks like Jordan Love might actually be pretty good too. So
yeah, for sure.
Just can't figure it out.
For sure.
What do you think Miami does at quarterback. I heard, Tom Brady might come back and QB that team.
Are you for real? You really heard that?
I read it somewhere, and like it's the same thing as like people are saying, which I put no stock into.
Oh my God, I can't put any stock in that, only because he's doing football for Fox. He's also trying to buy a piece of the Raiders, I think. And I can't see him playing anymore. I have heard rumors that there is potential interest in Tyson Bagent.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I could understand. I would expect the Bears to ask for a pretty high price for that because, God forbid, Caleb goes down. They've got nothing after that. As far as who else is still out there, I don't know if you could talk Ryan Tannehill into coming back.
I mean, Skylar Thompson is their only other quarterback on the roster right now.
Okay.
Man, I'm looking at their team. They got a lot of injuries. Tua's out. Raheem Mostert's out. Jeff Wilson's questionable. Malik Washington. They got 4 guys on IR already.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, they're struggling. They got a bunch of injuries. Is this a lost season for them because Tua going out so early?
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna get the ball to Tyreek Hill?
Who can throw the ball the farthest and just let Tyreek outrun everybody?
Yeah, I mean, provided he's able to get to the game without causing trouble.
Yeah, it's true. I guess.
Whole other subject.
I know there was a whole thing about it. I'll be honest, I haven't seen the video. I saw he got pulled over and thrown on the ground, whatever, and there's sort of conflicting reports over the validity of said encounter. But I don't know. If you're being asked to get out of the vehicle, get out of the vehicle. Because
exactly, you're being asked
obey
to
the law.
Yeah. Well, first off, don't drive 65 miles an hour in a 30.
Is that what he was doing? In a Lamborghini, probably. I'm sure too, right? I'm sure it wasn't like a Mazda,
Oh no, I think it was a McLaren, whatever that is.
That's high end.
So don't do that. When the police officer asks you to keep your window rolled down, you probably don't roll it up, especially if it's tinted, basically black, so you can't see through it at all. When the police officer tells you to open the door, you open the door. However, when he does get out and finally does comply, I don't think he needs to be thrown to the ground and have a knee put in his back.
Yeah, that was kind of rough.
Obviously, you know who it is. He disclosed who he was.
And there was a bunch of people telling him who he was too, wasn't it? There were like a bunch of people around.
I think another player actually pulled up to kind of check on the situation. So I think both the police officer and Tyreek were in the wrong. It just
do you think they're going to shake hands and just say, "Hey, I forgive you," and let's just both be better? Do you think that's going to happen?
Could be. I mean, Tyreek Hill's already come out and said, "Hey, I don't blame. I'm not mad at the police. I don't blame them." He kind of diffused the situation, which is probably good.
That's good.
I know the officer, the arresting officer, I think was put on administrative leave pending an investigation. All I'll say is this: it is really difficult to be a police officer in this country.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of times you don't. I mean, obviously Tyreek Hill, it's a little different, I think, but a lot of times they don't know what they're walking into, and ultimately their goal is to defend their own life and protect their own life. What's the motto? Serve and protect, right?
Well, it's not to protect their life; it's to protect others' lives.
Protect the public,
yes,
right?
I get where you're going with it.
You get when their life is potentially in danger, they have the right to protect themselves. And sometimes, it's like, where's the line? Where's the line as to what's excessive and what's not? And
here's what I would like to see. I would like to see police, fire, health make just an absolute shit ton of money. Highest paid jobs out there with the most training and the most accountability along with it. That's what I'd like to see.
That's fair.
I mean, if you're only paying, police officer $40,000 a year, guess what? You're not going to attract the best talent. You're going to attract people who really want to do it, or that's the only job they can get.
Yeah.
I would much rather have police, fire, military, all the first responder type things be destination jobs where, they have a very good living, but they're also very well trained and very accountable for their actions.
So would you say that because I know it's a big thing, you know, all the talk of defunding the police. Are you the exact opposite of that or no?
I think I fall probably in the middle somewhere. I think it's almost like the White Sox. Spend the money wisely. I think defund the police was not a very good slogan, because all it really meant was, let's make sure that other programs are funded as well. And surely, you know, there's other mental health things and other things that are problems that maybe police aren't the right response for that, right? Maybe there's a better way to do that, whatever that looks like. But I do think that there still needs to be a police presence. And I never really agreed with that whole defund the police slogan. I think it missed the mark of what the actual intent was.
So you think the problem is more a misallocation of funding as opposed to funding not being available at all?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like I think you fund. Yeah, I want safe streets and all that good stuff, and I want to be able to pick up a phone call and have police arrive immediately. You know, if the situation warrants it. So for sure, but I also don't think that police need to be the responder for every single thing that happens. Most of the things that are happening, not most, I won't say that, but there's a lot of situations where maybe it is a different type of professional. Maybe it is a health professional, and there's a lot of mental health issues out there. They're actually experimenting with this in the city I live in, and they've seen success where it's not the police being called out right away. It's like a mental health person going out and talking with the individual having, you know, a crisis or an issue, or whatever it may be. Now, I think there needs to be a triage, right? So if somebody's brandishing a gun or a weapon or something like that, that's a totally different response. But if you got some crazy guy on the side of the street, you know, what's going to happen when you got a bunch of armed people coming up to him? Probably not going to, you know, it's almost like escalation just by visibility. But I don't know. Generally speaking, pay the crap out of all those positions, train them really well, but hold them accountable. Highest accountability.
I think that's very fair. I think that there's something to be said for people in that profession needing, you know, more training, and also needing more money. I think you got to make it worth it for, like you said, the right people to be in that position. And like, again, you said that, you know, it's the only job that certain people can get. And yeah, I mean, it's a job that comes with a high responsibility. For
high responsibility, high risk. I mean, what other job would you take for that pay?
Yeah, I mean, and the same can be said for the military, right? I mean, they don't pay that much for that either. But
we seem to do a better job with the military. I won't say a great job, because I think we still have problems with like veterans and people coming back. But yeah, there's things like the GI Bill, and I think, you know, other things that are probably helpful. But yeah, pay the crap out of them too. Like, I don't want to go to war. I don't want to be a police person. I don't want to run into a burning building. So pay the crap out of the people who do.
Yeah, no, I think anybody who risks their life on a daily basis deserves more than just a living wage, if you will. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, I agree with you. All
right, maybe this is our platform. Maybe you and I should run for office.
Hey, sure. I need to.
What a lackluster endorsement that was. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, I know. I would need to study more. I would need to be a little bit more prepared for that.
Nah, you don't need to. Look at what we got out there. You don't need to study anything.
Yeah, apparently, you know, I can just, you know, I can go up to a podium.
Let's just make up a rumor. You know, it's like, oh, I hear Friends of Jeff has got a platform, and we should be voting for them for the next election.
Yeah, well, I can come up with cute catchphrases and just repeat them over and over and laugh at the crowd, or I can tell people that they're eating cats and dogs in Ohio. Then I could run for president. So yeah,
and I know what your first act will be. It'll be some law against the Chicago White Sox and the criminality of their current situation. And you're gonna hold them accountable.
I mean, well, how do you arrest people for stupidity? Let's put it that way. Or
I'm sure we'll find a way.
inept decision making, if you want to call it, or underqualified management. I don't know. I mean, it all fits when you're talking about the Chicago White Sox. Put that way.
All right, we've been going for an hour. You want to wrap up?
Yeah, I think that's enough for today.
All right, so what do we got? We got Bears are down 16-10. Start of the third quarter. What's your prediction? They going to win or lose?
I don't think they pull this out. I mean, I thought it would be a pretty low-scoring game. I thought the game would be in the 20s. Still need to see more out of their offense. It looks like the defense is starting to clamp down, and if they can make the adjustments in this game like they did in the first game, they might have a shot. But again, we got to see some more success on offense.
What do you see out of Caleb this week compared to the first week? He's 13 of 17, 94 yards.
He looks a lot more crisp in this game. Again, offensive line is not really helping him out. Obviously, they have not taken any shots down the field. I think actually that's wrong. They just took one. I just missed it. He did overthrow a guy, but not a lot of passes over 10 yards. I would like to see more of that. But as you know, in order to get a pass over 10 yards, you got to protect quarterback, and we don't do that very well. So he is getting rid of the ball. The positive, I don't believe there's been a turnover yet, so that's good.
Yeah, and no fumbles, no interceptions by either team, so it's been a clean game by both sides.
But he does look better. I mean, yeah, you got Williams with 13 completions for 94 yards, yet you got Stroud with 14 completions and 173 yards. So, yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah, there's a little bit of difference. Well,
yeah.
You got a second-year quarterback, and Stroud was what, Offensive Rookie of the Year last year?
Yes.
So, yes, it's good. It's a good one to learn from, I think. But I'm with you. I think the Bears come up short on this one again. But so far, I think Caleb has taken a small step forward. I won't say huge, but I would like to see the play calling protect him a little bit better. Let's do some more quick passes. Have the offensive line not be the issue.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see. I do think he's made. It's a noticeable improvement. Let's put it that way. He doesn't look nervous. He did look nervous last week, despite what he said that he doesn't get nervous. He was nervous last week. Exactly.
You have to.
But he does not look it this week, so it's good to see. I do think the Bears. I think they score once, maybe twice in the second half, but I think they lose. I think they probably lose by either a field goal or maybe one touchdown. We'll see what happens.
I was thinking they lose by 10 or 14, but I'm hoping. Okay. I hope I'm wrong.
We'll see.
All right, we'll pick it up next week.
All right, my friend. I'll see you then.
All right, talk to you. Bye.
Take care. Bye.